Hi, Sandra. Thank you so much for joining me today for a Sustainable House Day. My first question for you is, can you tell us a little bit about your house in Ballarat East, and maybe perhaps like the year it was built, what type of property it is, the building structure?
Hi, Sam. Yeah, I can do that. It's a 1990s built house and it's a reasonably central location. It's close to bus routes and the local area is loaded with green space and parkland and bike and walking paths and easy access to shopping and entertainment. So it's brick veneer, split level and double story. There's no eaves. It has a single garage and there was a cathedral ceiling over the upper and middle level. We bought it in 2014 when we were looking for something reasonably central and affordable, not too big, with some north orientation and exposure to winter sun. That was really important. It had gas cooking, hot water and space heating. It has good cross ventilation and seasonally reversible ceiling fans and a great shade tree to the northeast, which you can see there. The first thing we did was engage EcoMaster for a home efficiency assessment and our path forward. You mentioned there that you're close to town. Yeah.
And that was a part of your purchasing decision, wasn't it? So that you could rely less on using a car, although I don't know if anyone also watched our EV session earlier on in the year, but Sandra and Peter now have a Tesla. So you've also made that sustainable step towards having more sustainable transport. Yeah. But yeah, that's also something to keep in mind when purchasing a house, like you're looking at a holistic picture here of everything. Yeah,
the whole location, yeah.
Will I flick to the next slide and we can talk about some of the internal adjustments you've made, retrofits you've made to your house?
Yep. So the ceiling is actually the last thing that we've done, which should have been the first, but it's the thing that's made the biggest contribution to our comfort levels. So as you can see there was cathedral ceilings with the panelling, and that added up, the existing insulation added up to about 1.5, and we've had R2 added. So now we have about 3.5 insulation, although Ballarat, it's recommended you have 4.3. But anyway, it's a vast improvement for us.
So as far as like heating in winter and keeping
all times of the year. We noticed a difference in summer. It was installed in summer, but we've only just had it painted. And the shoulder seasons, it's really noticeable as well. You haven't got that cold start in the morning and that sort of thing. So you're not putting the heater on at all. It's very noticeable, and we've checked the temperature gauge on the fridge every morning after we first got it to see what the difference was to what it used to be, and it's always at least 2 degrees warmer.
That makes a big difference in winter.
They're notorious for gaps as well. We could actually see light at the apex there above the front door. So we knew it was pretty gappy. So we actually did spend a bit of time doing all the gaps around the house first, including around the skirting boards and the window frames and doors.
Have you got timber floors as well?
There's a timber floor just in that area, that lounge room area. And I think that might be the next slide.
Okay. And did you do the gaps yourself? Like, is that something that people can do themselves? Or
it is. You can just get a gap sealer. EcoMaster actually did some for us because they seem to be better at knowing where they were. Yeah. But we've certainly continued on because we seem to keep finding the odd one.
Maybe as the house is shifting and things are happening. EcoMaster, are they builders, or can you explain who they are?
They specifically do home improvements to make houses more sustainable.
Oh, okay. And they're Ballarat based or Melbourne based?
Melbourne based.
Okay.
They did have a Ballarat representative at the time. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, so here we are onto floor. So that's that room. We're looking at the roof before, and now we're looking at the whole room there.
Yeah, so that is the only floor that's timber. The rest is, oh well, I guess the upper story is timber, but it's all based on the slab. And that is the middle level, which has an underfloor space. So yes, we had to put underfloor insulation under there because it was only probably 0.7 R value.
Oh, wow.
So they added polyester bulk insulation of R2. So that's all fitted between the floor joists, and that's it. Would
well, so you also did your windows as well. Can you tell us a little bit about what you've done to the windows to help with the sustainability aspect?
So the windows were single glazed sliding aluminium windows. They were in good condition, but thermally very poor. So we were mindful of the embodied energy of the original frames. So we went for a retrofit of double glazed units with a 12mm air gap put into the existing frames. But if we were doing it again, we would fully replace them. It's sort of, you really notice how bad the frames are. Like on a hot day, the glass is cool, but the frames are happily bringing heat into the house, or vice versa in winter. And they're
so
also
they're going to
quite,
negate some of the effects of doing the double glazing then by.
Yeah, you really need a thermally broken frame for the windows, I think. Yeah, it does negate some of the effects having that just an aluminium frame. Yeah. We put a pelmet and heavy curtain downstairs over the sliding door there, and we've utilised cellular blinds on lots of our windows, and some, the windows with the shutters for privacy.
Are they similar to the honeycomb? So is it the same?
They are, yes.
Yeah,
Same sort of thing, yeah.
Also known as the honeycomb.
And they seem to be very effective. Yeah.
Yeah. I recently put bubble wrap on my windows to do a similar effect. I don't have the budget to put new blinds on all of them, but I definitely think that made a difference. So I can imagine how that would make a difference. And next slide. So you've also installed some solar as well. So because you originally said you had gas, hot water, cooking and heating. So now you're completely off gas and try to utilize most of your energy during the day, your electricity. So this is your solar system.
It is. It's only small by today's standards, 2.5 kilowatts. And it's on our northwest facing roof, which is well orientated for afternoon and early evening sun in the summer. So we try to time our appliance use to the hours of solar production by being here or using timers.
Yeah, and that's sort of your dishwasher and yeah. And there's another view of it from a different angle, and that's your hot water heat pump system. So you change that over from a existing gas system. Is that solar boosted as well?
No, but it is called a solar. You do get a solar rebate on it because it utilises the air that's warmed by the sun, so it sort of is a solar heater as well. But that is set on a timer to come on between 11 and 6 during the day, which means that if the sun's out, it's usually running for nothing.
And do you try to time your use of hot water during that period as well? So if you're doing the dishes or?
No, not really. The storage tank doesn't seem to lose too much. I noticed we can see on our PowerShop app, because we're with PowerShop, when we're away, sometimes you can see that the hot water system has only come on for a little bit. It just seems to make up for the day before usage, really, when it comes on.
And was that an easy transition to make into the heat pump? I was talking to a plumber recently, and well, he was very pro gas, and he said, in Ballarat's climate, that the heat pump technology probably wasn't.
No,
as efficient, but I'm hearing other things from people who actually have them installed. So how do you find the transition? Have you had any troubles or anything?
No, this one hasn't missed a beat. The only thing we did have once was the timer malfunctioned and it was coming on the wrong time of day and things like that. But we had that replaced and it's been fine ever since. But yeah, there's no issue at all. And
yeah, and that's irrelevant to like the cold mornings of Ballarat, which is I think what he was alluding
to.
Yeah,
they're amazing. It's just like your they're amazingly efficient and they can cope with low temperatures.
And that was one of the first things you had installed, is that correct? Is that?
Yes, because the existing gas system was very old and really on its last legs. I think it was the original system. So
yeah. And I think there's still rebates available. Don't quote me, but it might be something that we need to look into. But post up some links to that after the session. So that would be good. Now, so you've also changed some of your appliances as well. So your internal appliances?
Yeah, so we replaced the gas heater and a little panel heater that was downstairs in the bedroom. We've replaced with reverse cycle air conditioning, which is another heat pump, just like the hot water. They all operate the same way. So our gas heater would have been about 85% efficient, according to EcoMaster, and a panel heater is like 100% efficient, which means they use 100% efficient is 1 unit in for 1 unit out of heat. But heat pumps, because they're moving air around more than trying to heat it all up, is therefore up to 500% efficient. Now, I wouldn't say ours are, but you can, get really good heat pumps. And they're more efficient when you're using them for heating. Yeah. But we don't use ours for cooling very often. I guess we will more and more as time goes on. But, very effective and very comfortable. You can put them on a comfort setting so you don't feel like you've got the air blowing on you and that sort of thing. So it's something that I think is really underutilized as a heating mechanism. People, often will go to the central heating to heat the entire house as opposed to just heating the room that they're in. And people think of air conditioners as only being available for cold air and a summertime appliance. But now you've also got induction, which is and the induction cooktop is fantastic. It's so responsive, like it's better than gas in my opinion. You can get a really low simmer and just to keep warm setting where it just keeps it really warm without anything sticking or anything like that. It's just fast and efficient.
So much more control, isn't it, with an induction? I recently just bought a portable one so that I could sort of wean off gas a little bit. I can't afford to replace my oven doesn't need replacing. The oven's brilliant, but the cooktop is gas. So I bought a little portable one, but I don't think I'd ever go back to gas again. It's so, a couple of presses of a button and you get the exact temperature you want. And if it's, it's so much easier to find that sweet spot when you're cooking, I think.
It is, yeah.
A lot less burnt onions I've had.
Yes. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, great. What else have we got? Oh, this really excites me. This is your solar oven. So this is something that you use outside. So can you tell us a little bit about this and maybe what you cook in it and how often you might use it?
So there's actually two there. One's a smaller one, and the other one is similar. GoSun base their solar cookers on the evacuated tube, which is what you will find in solar hot water systems. And they're just fantastic. You can use them. I use them in the summer to avoid heating up the kitchen, but any time of year I'll get them out if it's a sunny day and I'm going to be sticking around for a while, so I can keep an eye on what they're doing. I can cook a seed loaf in there that saves me using my oven inside for 1.5 hours.
Yeah, and how long would that take you to cook?
Well, it always takes 1.5 hours at least, but depending on the cloud and whatever, it can take a little bit longer in the solar cooker. I do that in the larger one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's so that, see that, I don't know if you see that timber handle that's on the right hand side. So that's, you pull it out, is that correct? And then you put...
You pull that out and you can put veggies, or the other day I did rice croquettes in there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And this is portable too. So if you were to go camping or go away, you could take this with you, and yeah, brilliant.
And GoSun have now they have a hybrid cooker. So I don't think they do the large one just without being able to access a PowerPoint now. They've actually got a hybrid one, so that if you didn't finish cooking, you could plug it in and finish it off. So
yeah, that's
it's interesting,
extra handy. And as you said, so you can just pretty much do anything in there, like veggies or, like you said, croquettes. And
the big one, you can do rice. We can roast in either of them. Yeah, pretty much anything.
So exciting. I love new technology like this. Well, it's actually old technology, solar. Okay, and you also have a garden for wildlife, which is another aspect that maybe isn't always considered when people are sort of purchasing a house or making retrofits. But can you tell us a little bit about your garden?
Well, I signed up to Ballarat Gardens for Wildlife after a Smart Living talk, which wasn't that long after the bushfires, and people were there. I think we were all wondering what we could do more in our own spaces for the wildlife. The garden was fully established, but we've taken out and replaced some environmental weeds like cotoneaster and pittosporums and agapanthus and things like that. And we're trying to include more natives and pollinator plants. Things don't establish really quickly because there's quite a lot of root competition, but just the existing variety anyway has been great. And we've got grasses with a diversity of heights and densities of the shrubbery. I do a lot of heavy mulching. I've always been a heavy mulcher. So I retain all the leaves off the tree and from out in the street, and I'll keep sticks and prunings and put them back on the ground. And I think the most important thing is to have fresh water. So we get lots of birds visiting the bird baths, and that little bath there is mainly for insects. Yeah, so they
bee bath.
Yeah.
And that's the point of the rocks, is so that they have something to rest on while they're having a little drink there. So that's something really easy people can implement in their gardens to help wildlife.
And no chemicals. We don't use any chemicals for weeds or for pests or anything like that. And I'm noticing over time that the pest balance is improving all the time, because so I'm pretty confident I've got a good lot of predators there for the bad guys. Like it was very snaily and sluggy when we first arrived, and although blackbirds are my main snail catcher, and they make a horrible mess when they do it, they seem to be keeping them under control. But we have lots of skinks as well, and I think they do the same. Then we're visited by possums occasionally, and I think the next step for us would be to put in some nest boxes in that big tree. Yeah.
That'd be lovely. And I wonder too if grass makes an easy environment for for slugs and snails. I have quite a lot of grass at my house, which I would love to get rid of, because I'd love to have a garden like this that would encourage more wildlife, but also it's one less thing you have to do with mowing the lawns. But I do find I tend to find them near and around the grass areas, like the beds that are closest to the grass. Okay. So I'm not an expert, but I'm just thinking out loud here, really. But maybe it's an easy transition for them to make. So no, that garden is beautiful. So that kind of wraps it up for us. Was there anything else that you that you think is worthwhile mentioning to the viewers today about, doing a retrofit in sort of a slightly older build, or any other advice you've got for anybody today?
I don't know. I think do your research. I'm not sure. I definitely would get advice and do lots of research. There's a government book that is really good called My Home, I think.
Yeah, they're releasing a new version, or they might have just released a new version, I think, this year.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's all online. It's a PDF online too, so just for...
Yeah, and My Efficient Electric Home on Facebook have fantastic resources, and lots of people who've done lots of different things. So, you can pretty much, you can make existing houses more sustainable. You don't always have to build from scratch, especially if you want to live close to town and location is part of your sustainability goals.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, thank you so much for all that information today, Sandra. I really appreciate you joining us. And I hope you get to get out in your garden now it's springtime and enjoy some of that beautiful wildlife.
I will. Thank you very much.
Thank you.